Hey, welcome into the live Locked On Lions squad show. Jake Riepma with you, fired up to preview the Cleveland Browns.
Hey everybody, Natalie Kerwin here with FanDuel Sports Network. Could the Browns be the Lions' next offensive victim? 224 rushing yards. Sounds like it could be pretty likely. We'll find out.
Bradford Banta here, 22-year NFL veteran. Natalie, this one's for you. Amon-Ra might have dropped an F-bomb on the mic, but the only thing Detroit's dropping right now are touchdowns.
One pride. It's the Lions Squad. Everything Detroit Lions every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Motor City. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. From the roar of the Lions to the next great chapter, the Lions Squad Show starts now.
Yes, it does. Welcome one, welcome all. We're still flying high after that Monday night beatdown at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens. The Detroit Lions moving to 2-1 on the season. Jake Riepma alongside Natalie Kerwin and Bradford Banta. Say hello in the chat wherever you're watching from. Let us know. Today's episode, it's a Prize Pick Thursday. Today is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use that code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The old whip around opened. You know what, guys, that's on me. Hopefully the Lions come out better than we did on the live show. And by we, I mean me. I take full responsibility for that one, but I just wanted to see everybody's beautiful smiling faces right away. And not just me. I'm tired of it just being me when we open the show. And I think our viewers would feel the same way. But how's everybody doing? Nat, give us a nice little Thursday update. How are you? How is everything after that Monday night victory?
We are doing well. The week is good. I'm already looking forward to this Sunday. I felt like we got such a good taste of Monday night football. And it's like, I'm already ready for the weekend to be here. But it's been a good, relaxing week. Prepping for our show today. It's been exciting just to, relax this morning and do my little research for this. And all has been good. I'm ready to go. And I got my hat on today. I know you liked this earlier.
Big fan. Big
shout out to Kiwi Clo, which is a local Detroit company that does a lot of collabs with different Detroit athletes. And so this is one they did last year with the Lions. So I'll give them a little shout out here, giving some Detroit love. But I had to wear this today because I'm feeling proud of our team, feeling proud to be a part of this pod.
We'll work on a collab for all of us to have one of those hats, and Bradford, were you familiar with the term collab? That's coming from our resident social insider there, Natalie Kerwin, teaching us what the collabs are all about.
Look, I do have daughters. I do have kids. So, yes, I do. And how do my kids put it? I preach. It's very much preach. So, all right.
Preach.
All right. Don't be sus. Hey, don't be sus on me now. Come on, let's go.
Bradford is absolutely dropping some bombs right now.
Oh my gosh, you got what? I can't get in that world. So I'm glad you two can do enough for the entire show on that sense. But fun game ahead for the Lions, and by fun, let's hope it's a fun game. And the Browns, had we had a conversation about the Browns prior to their win against the Packers, I think the tone would be completely different than what it is where we are right now. And obviously that's a testament to the Cleveland Browns getting a big win at home. So we'll cross some of the football cliches off right away. But before we do that, we got a couple of people saying hello and give some shout outs here. Our Sailor Outlaw George says, hello, everyone. And this is a great way to start my birthday tomorrow. There you go. Happy birthday from all of us at the Locked On Lions squad show. And one of our guys, Lewis of the Line. Hi, everyone. Let's not underestimate the Browns. Judkins, Bannon Jr., Tillman, and Judy are no slouch despite their low scoring. Can't get trapped like the Packers. Bradford Banta, give us a little coach speak on what a trap game might be, may or may not be. And listen, trap game, I understand why that term can be used in a situation like this. Lions coming off a huge Monday night win, short week and everything else. But back at home, I just don't see a Dan Campbell team falling for a trap game.
He's not going to let it happen. Everybody and I've said this before, with the core group of players that they have in that locker room and that they have assembled, he is not going to let this game or look further down the road than what they need to. This team needs to go 1-0 every week. Then it's a prove it game, and they're establishing their personality. They've done it, over the course of 3 games. They knocked the rust off game 1. They came out the second game, just beat the pants off of the Chicago Bears. And then this past Monday night, just putting just a beat down on the Baltimore Ravens. They dominated every aspect of the game, and it was a complete team victory. And again, we said it the week before, and we'll say it again. They put belt to ass to the Baltimore. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and listen, I got a nice talking to from our bosses, who we love. We love our bosses, but they complimented my creativity with the belt to ass usage on the title. And I said it wasn't that creative. That's what they did. But, we had to take that down for whatever other reason. But I just want the record to show that we know that the Lions put belt to ass and now back-to-back weeks, even if the title was removed from that particular video. But you guys know me. I love those conversations with the powers that be. But Nat, I kick it over to you. Still, like I said, we're still flying high from that Monday night win, but I think this Lions team knows it's a quick turnaround, and that was in the past, and it's time to all eyes on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, the Lions, amongst any NFL team, right? They tell themselves, okay, we can give ourselves 24 hours to celebrate this victory, and then you move on to the next opponent. Same with a loss. You give yourselves time to soak it in, whatever it is, and then you move on to the next opponent. And you can't relish in that for too long, because you got to move your focus on to a new team, new schemes, new personnel, whatever it may be. And so that's exactly the point too. You're moving on to a team that's also coming off of an excellent win against the Packers, right? And so they're also feeling really good, and they want to keep that momentum going, beating a team that started off the season really hot in Green Bay. But the Lions know, and they have the personnel and coaching staff to keep them in check, to say, hey, we can't let this be a trap game. Now, if they were going into this going, oh, hey, we got this. We just put 38 up on Baltimore. We're feeling all sorts of good. Oh my gosh, 7 sacks on Lamar. Like, all is good in our world. They're not letting that get to them. Now they know that's the standard. If they can do that to Baltimore, they could do that to any team. If they can keep that confidence going, that's a good thing. But they got to reset the clock. And so I feel like they won't let it be a trap game. It's going to be competitive. I feel like this is, as we already know, they got a tough schedule ahead, but I think this is going to be, they're going to treat this like it is a Baltimore. This is a team 100%. That, as we saw in our comment earlier, that came in, like, they have great offensive weapons, just like Detroit does. And on the defensive side of the ball too, they're one of the best in the league right now. So I don't think the Lions will let it be a trap game.
No doubt about that. And Bradford, from a coach's perspective, there's only, I don't want to deem it as living in the past and whatnot, but you can turn on that tape and you can learn a lot about what you do as a strength in terms of imposing your will on the opposition. And Nat, you mentioned the rushing yardage in the open. That's a huge part of it. What, as far as game plan wise, Bradford, do you expect the Lions to kind of take from the week 3 win and then look to implement into the game plan against the Browns?
I think this offense can score over a long period of time, meaning long drives, i.e. the 290-plus yard drives. And then with Montgomery, running for 151 yards. Is it luck? No. He's just running angry. Thanks, Nat. Appreciate that one. So, but no, it's statement running. And the 7 sacks by the defense, that's the standard now. But, one of the things we have to talk about here is just, Detroit's run game dominance that they had over the Baltimore Ravens. Is that going to work against the Browns? Well, I'm willing to bet they're going to try to figure that out and see if it does early in the game. Another worry that you have to address is on, the other edge rusher. Yesterday, Muhammad sat out of practice because of a knee. Okay, it's going to be next man up. Who's going to answer that call? The Lions have experience with next man up based off of last season. So whoever that person is, if Muhammad is not able to go, then he's going to have to ring the bell. How's Decker's shoulder doing? And there's other guys that are listed as questionable. And hey, if you're ever looking for a linebacker that fits that Detroit Lions mold right now is Campbell. With walking out there with the bandage all over his face, about half mummified, and just the blood coming down. And I would imagine that Chris Spielman was sitting up in the box and being like, "Yeah, I like that guy." So it's just different things, but you can't let off-field noise infiltrate the locker room. And I think that's what the Lions, if it does infiltrate, they thrive on it. It drives them to become a better team, and it raises their level of play. So they're going to find something with the Cleveland Browns that makes them want to take belt to the A. So that's the way I see it.
I love it. And Nat, I'm curious, your thoughts and your take, like this Cleveland Browns team. I know we've talked about their offense, but a lot of the strengths on that defense, like what they did to the Packers, Myles Garrett comes to mind. And obviously fans of college football in the state of Michigan will remember Mason Graham and the career he had at Michigan. I saw this crazy stat with Mason Graham that he has the best pass rush win percentage for an interior defensive tackle. I got to shout out my Northwestern guy, Greg Newsome, a cornerback for the Cleveland Browns. We don't have a lot of guys in the NFL at Northwestern, so when there is a guy that's making meaningful contributions, I got to shout him out. But Nat, this Browns defense looks tough. It'd be another good test for the Lions offense.
I gotta give your Northwood boys love. I love it. Just like how my dad, he's a Ferris State alum. And
I'm sorry. Northwestern. Yeah. Not the Wood. We got to get some guys in the league yet. Although Nowoski for the Lions, the SVSU guy.
Saginaw Valley. That's right. Dude, was happy to see. I was excited to see him getting more and more playing time too. It's awesome to see. Sure. Anyway, all right, not getting distracted with our Michigan boys here. To your point, yeah. I mean, there's a reason Cleveland's defense has been ranked at one of the top this year. Jim Schwartz leading the charge there as their DC, which is just another storyline to talk about, right? With him in Detroit here for so many years. It's like the Lions just faced Ben Johnson back at home. Now you get another familiar face back in the building. So ironically, just in a couple of weeks, the Lions are just facing a lot of old faces per se. But to your point, their run defense has been stellar, and they were able to hold back Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs in back-to-back weeks. Now, it doesn't mean, just because the Ravens gave up 224 rushing yards to the Lions, doesn't mean that's what the Browns are going to do. But the way that they were able to contain Baltimore and Green Bay's number one rushing weapons, that speaks volumes. And so I think that's something to look out for. They rely heavily on their pass rush just from doing a lot of reading. That's their mojo. That's what Jim Schwartz likes to do with that group. And so it's going to be really important to protect Jared Goff. And we've talked about, how our O-line needs to continue to mesh and gel. And they did really well against Baltimore. And we can break that down too later on in our show as well. But I think Tate Ratledge has continued to improve, and that group has just started to show that there is some more chemistry and cohesiveness there. And so if what the Browns want to do is get to Jared Goff and get him off balance, the Lions are going to need to do their part on the O-line. And so I think that's going to be a huge part of the Lions game plan going into Sunday.
Absolutely. Did either of you see, and I think I've said this on this show before, I've definitely said it on other shows, that I just cannot get enough of any of the mic'd up content, the Hard Knocks-esque type of content. And one of the hot mics, I know we've talked hot mics with Amon-Ra St. Brown, but one of the hot mics in the Browns-Packers game caught the Packers offensive lineman. I don't remember which one it was, but Myles Garrett beat him, and he literally was turning and yelling, "Run, Jordan, run!" And Myles Garrett was on the sidelines like, "Bro, this lineman just told Jordan to run." So let's hope that none of the Lions linemen are yelling, "Run, Jared, run!"
How did I not see this? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anybody in the chat saw that video, because like I said, I can't get enough of that hot mic content, the on the field stuff, but it was hilarious probably not hilarious for Packers fans, but a good look into how good Myles Garrett can be and how much fear he can impose on the opposition. But you know what? The Lions offensive line, and they're going to do the imposing of their will on Sunday. So I don't know why I said it. They can impose their will on Saturday too, but
every day of the week, anytime, every day.
All right. Hey, we've got a special little change up, little curveball for today's show, and perhaps moving forward, just like a good play caller, we're going to dive into our bag of tricks here a little bit. And in the next segment, we got Nat's notes. Nat, what's coming up on the next segment?
We are going to be diving into some roster moves, some injuries that the Lions are dealing with right now. We got, some analysis as far as what the Lions can do if some guys aren't available on Sunday, and some implications, what that means for the team. So we'll be breaking that down in our next segment coming up. So these are some of my notes, some of my things I've started to take into consideration. We'll break it all down, what we think coming up.
I love it. Nat's notes are next. Don't go anywhere. It's the live Locked On Lions Squad show. Hey, today's episode of the Locked On Lions Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel because it fits however you like. You can bet player props. Maybe you build a same-game parlay, another day, another parlay, or you can even jump in live as the action unfolds. You got a little Thursday night football coming up, an NFC West matchup. See what you like on that. Maybe a little over-under action. Tons of different options, and it all happens at FanDuel.com. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to get started. Back with you on the Locked On Lions Squad show. We got a ton of people still joining, which is great. See that number going up and up and up and up. You can find us on Thursdays at noon for an hour-long live show. But, of course, you can catch it anywhere, the audio version, wherever you get your podcast, and, of course, on YouTube. That's why you need to like today's video and subscribe. The debut segment of Nat's Notes. Natalie Kerwin, our resident social insider and everything else, our chief collab coordinator and everything else. And now
fashionista.
Yes. So many things you do for the Locked On Lions Squad show, including Nat's Notes.
Okay, well, now I'm taking over as host. So, Jake, you can just sit back and relax and crack open a high noon, whatever you are feeling.
I'm good.
On this thirsty Thursday.
I had a few too many last night, so we're gonna just go slow.
We're kick back and relaxing. I know, real quick, because we didn't mention it in the beginning. I want to tell everyone and the fans watching, Jake's birthday was on Tuesday, right?
Yeah. I'm old though. I'm old. So birthdays are just another day, especially Tuesday.
For yourself.
So a happy belated to you, Jake, our fearless leader and host and all good things. So thank you for being
happy birthday.
You Jake. Are and
belated.
If you're hungover today, it's okay.
I love it. Just call it how it is.
It's okay. You guys call me out on stuff. That's what we do here. We keep it real.
That's what we do here. That we're a good team like that. I love it.
Yeah, we are. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right. So get into the Nat's notes, you guys. So like I mentioned, we're going to get into just a couple roster moves, transaction moves, and some injury reports that have come out as well. So I want to start by announcing 2 moves that were made just yesterday on Wednesday. So the Lions promoted tight end Ross Dwelly from the practice squad and signed a D lineman, Quentin Jefferson, to the practice squad to bolster the Lions' D-line depth. Now, this all comes with the news that Marcus Davenport is now on injured reserve, which was obviously the big talk after last week getting hurt against the Bears. It was like, is he going to be available to play against the Ravens on Monday? Dan Campbell didn't really know what his status would be leading up to the game, and ultimately he was not available to play. Then we saw Al-Quadin Muhammad do what he was able to do, but now he's a little bit questionable with his knee, so we're not exactly sure. So the Lions made some moves yesterday. So doing some research on both of these guys, Dwelly filling in at that tight end 3 spot for Shane Zylstra while he is out right now, and then Jefferson, he's a vet entering his 10th NFL season. And from what I was able to pick up, he's a guy that has played in a lot of different roles on the D-line, essentially. And so he's been an edge rusher. He's played a lot of snaps at D-tackle, so he can be placed anywhere. So this could be good as far as Dan Campbell saying, hey, we're comfortable with our depth. And so if Al-Quadin Muhammad isn't available to play on Sunday, maybe he's someone you consider elevating or whatnot. I guess I'll throw it to either of you. I'm going to be Jake here in this instance. Maybe I start with you, Jake. Jake.
Nice.
We'll go there first. Jake, I guess I'll throw that question to you first, is that, Dan and Brad feel comfortable with the depth that they have on this team at edge right now, maybe with the signing of Jefferson or who else they have on the squad. Do you see it the same way? Do you feel comfortable as well? Could this be a benefit to this Lions team?
No, I think, which, by the way, the little hosting chair, it's not all it's cracked up to be, So this is a great exercise for everybody. But I want to start, because you got to be careful, and I've made the mistake many times where you come out with a prominent statement without the background context. So the background context here, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and everybody else in that front office has earned the trust. They've earned that cachet, if you will, to not necessarily have the benefit of the doubt, but the understanding that there is a greater plan at work here. And guys like me and a lot of people will take maybe the surface level, easier path of, hey, the Bengals are having a bad season. Joe Burrow's injured, and maybe we can go trade for Trey Hendricks. And that's still on my mind. And, that's the flashy, big splash move. So when I think about bolstering the depth at the defensive line, and specifically with an edge rusher, I think that just makes so much sense. However, guys that are between those walls at the practice facility every single day, and obviously Brad Holmes with his intention and his plan for this team, maybe that doesn't necessarily fit into what they're trying to build and what they have built, because make no mistake about it, the Lions are a team that has and earned the right to be considered a Super Bowl caliber team, just with what they've accomplished in the last 2 years. So immediately speaking, I don't think they're, and again, this is just me with it's not a knock. It's just, I have questions of where the depth is going to come from. You sign guys off the practice squad. It's like patching a leak with duct tape. How long is that going to last? Whereas, do you need to really invest in a full-on, totally, fixated new defensive line by bringing somebody in? So I think that's a long-winded way of saying I'm not quite sold on the depth quite yet. And if, Davenport, his injury history is very well documented, and Muhammad was such a pleasant surprise Monday night, but the nature of the beast is injuries are a very, very significant part of it. And we know better than anybody based on what happened last year. So I'd still like to see a little bit more happen on that defensive line.
Bradford, do you see things the same way?
Look, here's the thing that you have to realize is that was Muhammad's first significant amount of playing time. And he has already, what he has put on tape. So it's kind of like a rookie coming into the major league, and the pitcher's not knowing how to pitch to him. And then he goes bonkers, and he bats, I'm throwing a number, he bats 500. the first time through. And then the second half of the season, people know how to pitch to this rookie now. Well, Muhammad's been around, but he hasn't played significant amount of time on the field. And he showed out this past Monday night. So it's going to be important for him to develop tweaks to his game in which he's been around long enough to, I can't say he withheld anything, but to throw the offensive tackles or the guards or running backs just a little different wrinkle that he possibly did not show on Monday night to extend his game a little bit more. But like you said, Jake, is it a Band-Aid right now? Yes. Long term, who knows what Brad has cooking, in the kitchen where we can't see. It's like a kitchen in a restaurant. You can't see what they're doing back there. All you know is the product that they bring out and they place on the table. And, so far, hey, the meal's been fantastic. And it just talking about injuries, I think we can expect to see Taylor Decker on the injury report for the rest of the season and giving him days of rest just to keep that shoulder semi-healthy, so to speak, because you have the trainers, they have that needle and thread in the back, just kind of as soon as that thread breaks, they're there to hem it back up. You hope that Vaki comes back with his hamstring. He injured that during the Baltimore game. This, and then, the other guys that are limited is Derek Barnes. I mean, to be understandable. I mean, he has, he's got, he's getting a little long in the tooth. Okay. So, and then, DJ Reed, full practice, because of cramping. Okay. Drink more water, drink more Gatorade, that type of deal. But, the people you don't see on it anymore. And like I said, you see Spillman up there, but you don't see Campbell on it. You don't see Nowoski or Kirby Joseph. So hey, continue on that. I apologize for taking so much of your time.
Hey, again, we're a team. All good. I was either going to get there or you were going to get there. And to continue on just the injury talk, I feel like Taylor Decker, it does concern me a bit on his age at this point and how lingering that shoulder injury could be. Do you guys feel the same concern that I do there at O-line? Because again, we don't know if Manu has the ability yet to step in and fill that role where Taylor Decker has thrived for so many years for this Lions group.
Yeah, right now, this is outside looking in. I'm not that worried about it unless he takes a jarring hit on that shoulder. I think that he can work his way through and he just has that offensive line mentality of all you got to do is just tape me up and I'm ready to play. So that's kind of my feeling about Decker and in the situation that's being presented not only to the team but also to the public and being listed in the injury report. And with the amount of years that veteran has, he's proven himself to be trustworthy and dependable because you're not going to make the club in the tub. And
I like that. I never heard that one.
You haven't? Oh, yeah. No. So, but he'll be there. He's going to line up because if not, the kangaroo court inside the O-line room, he's going to be taking everybody out to dinner. So that's just the way the locker room works.
Well, we just have to hope that the rest during the week is everything but beneficial. It continues to be beneficial for him so that he can play each and every Sunday and continue to be a strong part of that group and help lead a really young O-line squad for this team. I think the way I want to wrap this up, just a couple things. We mentioned it earlier, but two things from Sunday's or Monday night's game. Jack Campbell, for those who did not see the photo of him all bloodied after the game, having to get stitches, he claimed he is the first in his family that has to visit a plastic surgeon to get stitches in his face after accidentally getting kicked in the face helping a teammate up. And they had to glue it together during the game, but it looked pretty nasty, and it looked like a typical, that is a Lions player right there. Gritty, gross. And he said when he looked in the mirror, he couldn't believe what he saw when he looked back because it was disgusting. If you guys didn't see the picture, I wish we could pull it up.
I'm working on pulling it up right now. I don't know if this is beyond my level of streaming expertise. So listen, I know they talked about it, but I couldn't believe how bad it really ended up looking. And I wish I could work faster in pulling it up because I'm trying to save it as a picture here.
Well, I had heard that Eisenman had given him a call after the game to come down to LCA for a tryout.
Well, my point in even bringing this up is the fact that the Lions, yes, they went into Baltimore and put a beat down on those guys, put up 38 points against them, but they didn't walk out of there unscathed. They walked out of there with some battle scars, Jack Campbell included. I know Hutch had some ice on his knee at the press conference. I know Al-Quadin Muhammad obviously is dealing now with something with his knee. I mean, these guys put themselves on the line, but Jack he's going to need a little facial reconstruction around his mouth, which is something you don't see too often, I feel, in the NFL at least. That's why
you start calling it, a new nickname for him now is a Joker. So yeah, you never know. Put a little makeup down there, you'd be all right.
Yep. So those are my Nats notes I got for today. I know, Bradford, you got more of the X's and O's and the schemes and how the Lions are going to focus on this next matchup and how they can execute the same way that they did on Monday night. So I know you can handle that after the break, but I'm going to hand it back to Jake for now.
All right, we got Coach's Corner coming up next. Bradford was going to take the X's and O's, so don't go anywhere. We'll also mix in some comments here on a live Locked On Lions squad show. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Lions Squad Show is brought to you by Game Time. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team at Ford Field. But let's be honest, sometimes getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and those prices jumping out at checkout. What the heck is up with that? It's so frustrating, and that's why I use Game Time. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time's fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, the fees are included. Thank the goodness, Lord. What a concept, too. You see the price you see, it's the price you pay. What an idea. Game Time is reinventing the way you buy tickets. And I love the zone deals, too. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go to download that Game Time app today. Don't wait. Go right now. All right, back with you on the Locked On Lions Squad Show. It's time for Coach's Corner. Bradford, before I kick it to you, can we mix in a few comments here? I wanted to get to this one right away from, I hope I'm saying this right, Hassanan Mahdi. Good evening to all of you and happy birthday to Mr. Jake. Oh, thank you. You don't have to say Mr., but thank you. That's why I wanted to get to that. But watching from Cairo, Egypt, and the father of Ahmad Hassanin, 6 weeks more, and my son Ahmad will be ready. What a source!
I like it.
Talking about.
Very nice.
Awesome. Very cool. So I saw that comment come in, and I was like, we have got to get to that right now. So thank you, number one, Mr. Mahdi, for watching, and number two, we cannot wait to see your son in action. I still can picture when he was drafted, the raw emotion, the excitement out of Boise State. That was one of many highlights on draft day, but that was awesome. So, and that comment was awesome. So thanks so much for watching. And now it's time for the Coach's Corner, Bradford Banta.
Hey, let's go here. No, I want to take this segment and just use it to talk about really both teams, primarily Detroit, but talk about both teams. And, one of the things I want to talk about is just kind of scheme overview, with what kind of strategy do you want to employ, and then kind of the matchup breakdowns, and then any game plan adjustments, in-game flexibility that they have. And then, hey, we can end the session with predictions if we want to. So some bold strategic calls, if we want to call it that. All right. So, let's start with Detroit's offense. And they showed, imagination in their scheme the other day, but they also just kept it very, very simple. And sometimes simple is best. And there was a little bit of movement by the Baltimore Raven defense, but not that much. And Detroit was able to take advantage of the A gaps with really 3 double teams happening at one time. And it was something that I truly didn't notice while I was watching the game. But after watching a little bit of film, Detroit was lining up in a triple I formation and then shifting to, let's say, a tight end wing back type formation. So what that tells me is that they're coming up there, they're looking at the front, and then Goff is making the decision on the defensive front, and then he's putting the Detroit Lions in the best formation and best play possible to achieve success. And did they achieve success? Oh my gosh, yes, they did. But just by establishing the run inside the A gaps, just that inside zone run, it was fantastic. Are they going to be able to do the same thing versus the Cleveland Browns? I don't know. The only reason I say that is because Myles Garrett, you don't ever know where that sucker's going to line up. You really don't. I mean, I can remember last year he was playing basketball right over the center, meaning he was simulating bouncing a basketball before the ball was snapped. And he ended up rushing the quarterback. But where is he going to line up? He could be over on the right-hand side, and then they shift, and then he shifts over to the left-hand side. You have to account for him. The question that has to be asked in the coach's room, and you always think scenarios, right? So you want to get Goff off to a hot start, just like every game. You want to get him going off to a hot start, just completing rhythmic throws, whether they be 5-10 yards, screen passes, just something to easy throws, getting the ball into the runner's hands and letting them go work their magic. Whenever you do that, that loosens up the run defense. And then, and I know we've talked about this before, but once you loosen up and you're able to run the ball, then you have the play action that comes into play. Then you have the safety starting to bite up on the run and the play action. And then that's when you hit them. That's when you hit them deep. That is, I look for them because right now on first down, they are 50-50 run pass on 1st and 10 situations. But they, in Goff, is a play action, lack of a better term, diva. He's very good at what he does. He's very magical with the ball. But it's all up front in starting with the offensive line. How are they going to protect him? And getting back to, you sit in the coach's room and you're discussing things. Okay, how is our game plan going to adjust if Jared is having an off day? It meaning he throws an early pick, because he has shown, just looking at past history, once he throws one, many may follow. So what are we going to do if he throws one early? So my suggestion is just kind of stick with the run, because they're hurting at the defensive tackle position, and I would almost bet on running plays and even in pass protection, there's either going to be on a run play, you're going to double team Myles Garrett, or you're going to chip him in the pass, or you're going to double team him whenever he's trying to rush the passer. That's where I think that Cleveland is going to try to free him up by running games and running twist and really just trying to get him as a free runner to Jared Goff whenever a pass does show, because they do have run blitzes and they do have pass blitzes, and they're going to go ahead.
I was just saying, I heard this interesting discussion on Goff, and it was actually from some guys here locally on 105.3 The Fan, talking that Goff is truly that almost like a coach on the field that we used to see a lot more of in a previous era of football. Guys like Peyton Manning and even Eli Manning that didn't have the raw athleticism that you see from a Lamar Jackson and some of the other guys, where they're diagnosing so much at the line of scrimmage and it can be even, you've got multiple calls in the chamber, but based on what Goff sees, that is determining the play call. So I just think that gives Goff a lot of freedom that he's earned because he's capable of it, and like Manning got so much credit for being the guy that diagnosed stuff at the line of scrimmage, and that's not new or anything, but you're seeing Goff be that guy, and Peyton Manning got the credit with the Omaha call, and named it his production studio, Omaha Studios, and like became famous from it. But Goff is doing that too, and there was the Pat McAfee show was talking a little bit about it too, where it's you got to have a guy that's like a coach on the field to be able to have that trust with him, and Goff certainly earned that. So I didn't mean to hijack, but I just wanted to add that in because I think it's right in step with what you're saying, where how it's so much of offense is predicated around taking what the defense gives you.
And I'll add to that too. It's funny you bring that up, Jake, because my dad and I just had a conversation about just that yesterday about Jared Goff. He does not get enough credit. He really doesn't. There are a lot of haters out there, and he just takes it, right? Because he's not your typical mobile quarterback. He's not your Lamar Jackson that everyone raves about. Oh my gosh, he's so fast. He uses his legs and he has the ability to throw downfield in crazy situations. He's so smart at the line of scrimmage. He gets through his progressions. He makes quick decisions. He is that leader that you look for. He is the right guy for this group. And he might not give you the athletic ability, but he studies hard and he works hard, and he gives you a lot of other things that you can't always teach, if that makes sense. So it's just, my dad and I had that same conversation yesterday. And so it's just funny you mentioned that, because I'm right in tandem with you. And I'm sure we're all on the same page here, but it's just.
We know Papa, that Pops knows ball. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does just enough to keep himself clean.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you want? He gets the ball out. So, which is great. All right, let's flip over to the, Detroit defensive side of the ball. I would, this is me, if I was the DC. So I would make Flacco beat us deep. And the only reason I say that, in his 18 NFL seasons, he averages, for 18 years, he's only averaged about 6.7 yards per pass. So if you flood the zone underneath, and I'm saying from 15 yards and in, if you flood that zone and just make him throw the long ball, I think it's going to give the defensive front enough time, because Cleveland Browns are having a little bit of trouble on the offensive line as well. It's going to give that defensive front, especially the interior, to throw him off of his mark and make him move, and then get funneled to the edge rushers. So that's just plain and simple. That's how I would do it.
I got one note on the defense from Eric Woodyard, who covers the Lions for ESPN, regarding Calvin Shepard's press conference from earlier today. He said he's not down on Terry and Arnold, but expect Amik Robertson to play a bigger role this week. And I think we saw, and again, we post-game show, instant reaction. Sometimes you just call it how you see it. And Terrion Arnold had a tough game. And I saw a stat that he's given up the second most passing yards as a primary defender so far this season. And there's growing pains in the NFL. And I had somebody text me after our show Monday night saying, wow, you're really down on Terrion Arnold. And it's not that at all. That was a weakness in the defense yesterday or on Monday night. So we'll see how much of an impact Robertson can make. And, I think this will be his second year this is his second year with the Lions. Cause I know he was a big offseason acquisition the year before. And I thought, he showed signs, and if he's got a more prominent role here, in the week against the Browns, I think it'll be, for me anyways, it'll be a welcome sight.
And I think too, sometimes taking a guy away like Terrion to sit back and get less playing time maybe will make him realize some things, or getting some perspective on the sideline, being near Coach Shepard, being able to learn a little bit if he's not playing as much. I think it sometimes can give players, no matter their sport, an interesting perspective of stepping back and realizing the things that need to change. Because you're right, Jake, we did call it like we saw it, right? It wasn't a great performance out of him on Monday, and it hasn't been this season so far. So obviously things have to change, and he knows it. He's seeing the comments come in, and he's hearing it. And Dan made a comment about it, and now Calvin said something here this morning. So hopefully good changes to come, but hopefully that also means Amik steps up in some ways too for the better for the team too.
Yeah, because if I'm Kevin Stefanski or Bill Musgrave, whoever's calling the plays, and I see 6 on the lineup on the opposite side, I'm telling Flacco, hey, let's go test this guy out, see if he's turning things around. Yeah, that's the guy.
The old head nod.
Yeah, exactly. So that's and the proof is in the pudding. It's that's been his history, and I think Parcells probably said it best. Tell me who you are. Let's just go throw on the tape. And he has had a majority of his penalties, I believe, 12 have been DPIs in X amount of games. I'm not sure how many games he's played in thus far in his career, but the penalties have stacked up, and it showed the other night versus Baltimore, whenever he was in the game, that they were targeting him, and it affected 2 of the scoring drives whenever they went after number 6.
Yeah. The only thing I'll add, and it's not just in defense of Terrion Arnold, but all defensive backs, it's the nature of the sport where it's so much easier to remember their shortcomings. Whereas you turn on the tape with the other different position on the defense, let's say edge rusher, defensive line, the only time we're talking about them is when they get a sack. And so that's not a Terrion Arnold thing. It's a defensive back thing, which I got a soft spot for those guys. And I say all that after being so critical of Terrion Arnold, but it is true. You got to be, when you do your job, the reward is, okay, the offense gets 3 more plays. And I know that goes with just defense in general, but we were this close to calling out Hutch, saying, hey, we need more from you, Hutch. And then he turns it on in the 4th quarter and makes a few highlight plays. So it's just the ebbs and flows of a typical game. And Arnold was a 1st-round pick for a reason. He's obviously gifted and has a lot left to give in the National Football League. And let's just hope that, like you said, Nat, that maybe a little reset, a little refresh helps the young fella.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have a memory like a goldfish, baby. So that's it.
That's right. All right. Coach's Corner in the books. Love it. Appreciate that. Let us know in the chat. Actually, that's really dangerous. It's saying let us know in the chat, because sometimes people aren't always. But I think this was an unquestioned success in our first go of it with Nat's notes and the Coach's Corner. So executive decision from all of us here live on the Locked On Lions Squad show. We keep it rolling for next week. So everybody, anybody, all in favor.
There we go.
There we go. I love it. All right. Keys to victory and predictions on the other side of this short break. Don't go anywhere. It's the Locked On Lions Squad show. Today's episode of the Locked On Lions Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at Wayfair. When you think game day, you might not think Wayfair, but you should, because Wayfair is the best kept secret for incredible and affordable game day finds. Wayfair has everything you need to get your space ready for the season, whether you're tailgating outdoors or cheering from your living room. I picked up an awesome Wayfair item, a grill and a cooler and a recliner, and I'm set for tailgating. It's completely leveled up my game day setup, and now I'm the most popular guy at the tailgate. Wayfair is your trusted destination for all things game day, from coolers and grills to recliners and slow cookers. Shop and save and score today at wayfair.com. That's wayfair.com. WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Final segment of the program. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, Bradford Banta. How are we feeling? I feel like this was a good show. A lot of fun.
This has been a lot of fun. I kind of don't want it to end.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's keep going.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling. Good news. We've got time for some keys to victory. And we did get a few nods of approval in the comment section, which we appreciate. Lewis of the Line, that's our guy. We appreciate that. He loves the new segments as well. All right. Keys to victory. I think a lot of them go without saying, but we're going to say them anyways. So I will kick it to eeny, meeny, miny, Bradford Banta. A little key to victory.
I want to say, to get a resounding win, I want to be +3 in the takeaway category.
Ooh.
Wow.
So so if you take away the underneath for Flacco and make him beat you deep, that's when my man Kirby Joseph is going to get his hands on some balls. So
I like it.
Yeah, and get some interceptions. So I like that, and we're going to heat up the pass rush, and I think that we're going to get some interior pass rush. But I like keys to victory is being +3 in the takeaway category.
Okay. I like it. Takeaways are key. I mean, you hear Dan say it all the time. We need the DBs, the defense, they need takeaways, anything to help get a little advantage on those guys. And so I think what we saw against the Ravens, if you can replicate that game plan against the Browns to the best of their ability, they can get a dominant win here at home. So what does that mean? That means dominant pass rush. Doesn't mean it's going to be another 7-sack game, but if you can get close to that number, that would be awesome. Dominant rushing attack. I don't think they've seen an offense yet with as many weapons as Detroit has. Between a running back tandem of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, Monty putting up 151 yards of that 224 on his own. I mean, that was a career day for him in his own right. But I mean, I just don't think the Browns have faced anything like that in these first couple of weeks of the season. And then you essentially have a Pro Bowl type offensive group that they have to face as well. And Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then you got Jamison Williams in there too. You have so many different weapons that they're going to be facing that I don't know if they're going to be ready for that. So you got the creative play calling that we saw a little bit of on Monday as well. And then I think controlling the line of scrimmage, which we were able to see, and the clock with those 2 long drives, the one that took up nearly 11 minutes in the second quarter, that was huge. That kept Lamar off the field. Anything to keep Joe Flacco off the field will help this Lions group as well. I mean, those are keys to victory. Any opponent you're going to go up against, right? You could use that playbook against any team, but that is a recipe for success. So those are my keys to victory. Just try and replicate what you did just a few days ago in this short week.
I love it. There's also you pulled a Rieger and just went through the whole list. Now there's none left for me, so I appreciate that. No, I love it. It was
I had to have missed one. Come on.
I'm gonna piggyback off of definitely off of both of what you guys had to say, but the turnover margin.
Boring.
But here's my spin on it. Here's my spin. I think the Lions defensively, it's a big opportunity for this defense because the Browns have not shown the ability to, let's just light up the scoreboard. Their highest point total is a resounding 17 points against the Ravens. They've scored 16 points in week 1, 17 in week 2, and 13 even in a winning effort. So big opportunity for the defense, and specifically, can they make the Cleveland Browns one-dimensional? And Joe Flacco, at one point in his career, certainly possessed the ability to lead an air raid offense and throw the ball 100 times in a game and whatnot. But I don't think we talked about some guys that are getting a little long in the tooth. Obviously, Joe Flacco is on that list as well. And if the Lions can make the Browns one-dimensional, I'll take our secondary. And again, this is a big challenge because our secondary has not been a strength of this team yet, but they got their hands on some balls in the Monday Night Football game against the Ravens, but they didn't convert them into takeaways. So I'm looking for, again, the piggyback off of Bradford Banta to optimize and utilize those opportunities better and create some turnovers, but it starts with making the Browns one-dimensional.
And I like this comment that I know, me too. And this comment that just came in, it's a great point as well. Excited to see what the O-line will look like matched up with the dominant defense like Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge all into itself right there for that offensive line. And they answered the bell last weekend. So they'll be coming off a little bit of a short week. But that's just life in the NFL. You have to learn how to play that game, and you have to learn how to take care of your body. And that's one thing that Tate Ratledge is going through. And with the success that the Lions have had over the last couple of years, that means more primetime games, more afternoon, more night games, more Thursday night games, more, you don't get slotted in that 1 o'clock game every week. So it's fun to play in these games that are slated, for the afternoon, or slated for Monday night, slated Sunday night, Thursday, all these different times. So and that's where the rookies have to learn. And they're fortunate enough to have a core group of players in the locker room that have been through this, that they can talk with about how to get ready to play.
For sure. All right. It's the dreaded portion of the program for me. You guys will get the opportunity to shove it in my face and rub it in, because we revisit our score predictions from the game against the Ravens. Nat almost hit it right on target. Very, very impressive score prediction. 35-31 with the Lions winning. It was 38-30. So I wish I had a bell. I got to get a bell in this studio. Ding, 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 ding. So
you are a winner.
So Bradford also correctly predicted the Lions to win 31-30. And Jake Riepma, walk of shame. I had the Ravens winning. That's on me. And in this silly business of ours, you're going to be wrong a lot, and you just have to wear it. So this is me wearing it. I'm going to learn from my mistakes and kick this off with score predictions. Give me the Lions 28, the Browns 13.
Okay. All right. I know. I'm going to go Lions 28, Browns 21.
All right, 28-21. Lions winning, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I'm transcribing this.
Sorry, I have to make sure.
Yeah, in the almighty group chat, so that we have the documentation. Bradford, what you got?
Well, being the superstitious person that I am, Jake, you're just going to copy and paste. I'm saying Lions 31-30.
The whole season, he's just going to keep going out 31-30. And one time, he's probably going to be right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or it's going to be the one time he doesn't say 31-30 and the Lions are going to win by one.
31-30, exactly.
Yeah, let's get some score predictions as we wrap it up here. Let us know in the chat what your score predictions are. And, hey, we will have an awesome Locked On Lions squad post-game show for you Sunday at the conclusion of the game, it's an early game. So looking forward to being on post game. Final word, Bradford Banta, what you got?
Let's see. I am looking forward to watching this offensive line perform against that defensive front. I've coached with Jim Schwartz whenever I was coaching at the Lions. I was fortunate enough to be on the defensive side of the ball, which is Jim's specialty. And he is going to cook something up to try to confuse the interior part of the offensive line. Look for the Browns to probably attack that interior part. We said last week was a statement game. This week is going to be a game where it's not a statement game, but I look for the offensive line to make a statement in this game, being that the front in the defense that they're going to be going against is pretty doggone formidable.
Okay, I like it. I'll make mine quick. I think the Browns are going to, since they live and die with their defense by using an aggressive pass rush, they're going to try and make Jared Goff uncomfortable. I want to see how the Lions can make Joe Flacco and the Browns uncomfortable. We saw an elite performance out of the defense on Monday, obviously 7 sacks, and I think they had 30 pressures against Lamar. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say that was what they had, which was unbelievable for that group. But I want to see them try to continue that same just dog mentality coming into this game. And again, not make it a trap game, as we emphasized at the beginning of this show.
Very well said. A couple of comments to get us out on in style. Lion King A. Williams is looking for a 28-0 Lions win. Brandon says 35-17. Defense is going to pick up right where they left off. So program reminders, post-game show on Sunday, immediately following the final whistle. And next Thursday, Will Birchfield from Fox 2 and 971theticket.com will join us. You see him on the Lions pregame show with Dan Miller on Fox 2. So looking forward to having Will Birchfield, the Birchie Kid, on the show next week. For Bradford Banta, Natalie Kerwin, I'm Jake Riepma. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time, which will be Sunday. Make sure you check out Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. Like today's video and subscribe, and go Lions.